everyone. Hope you're all good. Oh, we'll do the usual camera adjustment. Hold on a second. There you go, that's better. Good. All right, so ready for a nice little workout. Everybody. We'll do the usual warm-up process, and then I've got some blocks and stances for you today that I want us to learn and think about how to use to really work out our legs. And obviously, when we're doing the blocks, they'll work out our arms as well, but perhaps a little bit more heavy on the legs. Good. All right. So let's bow to begin. Good. Off we go. All right, and the toes get warmed up gradually. You're on side and close, back and forth. Keep those knees soft. Good, let's go forward and back. So I'm leaning off with my right leg. Goodness. Just move that way. Good. Lean off with the other leg now. Good. Open the gate. Swap it out. Good. And we do some closing the gates at the top and pulling in. I like to do closing the gate as well as opening the gate, because closing the gate, putting your leg inwards, activates your adductor more, this muscle on the inside of your leg. So it's a bit more blood flowing to it. And obviously when it's got blood flowing to it, stretches better, it flexes better. Good. Back in the toes, let's punch. And punch upwards. And sideways, get some movement in those shoulders. And forward again. And upward. And sideways. Alright, so left leg forward. Do some knee swings. So keep your knee bent. Swing your knee up this way and back. So I know I repeat this lots, but it is important. You can take these workouts and do them at a similar level of intensity to me. You can do them with more intensity, with a lower level of intensity. And the whole things are designed for you to adjust and do it in a way that really suits you. Because that's the whole purpose of it, you know. As I've said many times, my greatest wish is that you get the confidence, or you get the time, or the finances together, or whatever it is that stops you going to a class and enjoying the camaraderie that we all get from martial arts. My plan, or my ideal thing, is that you overcome that thing and you do get to a class. But until then, or if you can't do that, then working out at home with these sessions with me, it's not a bad option. Right, so circle one arm forward. So, back to my point, I need to make them, or you need to make them suit you. You need to be pushed along gently. You need to be gradually have your fitness increased, your flexibility increased, your confidence increased. And really, that's the main goal of these sessions. Move backwards. Good, one forward and one back. Well, I'm sure I've mentioned this reasonably frequently as well. If you have a real change, if you have a real change, if you have a real desire for self-defense, self-defense based training, then look at our shield classes. There are 50 shield classes online that start with the low number, start with one, you'll work your way through. And they really do help you to piece together some self-defense and some effective self-defense, but also have a little workout as you do it. All right, some of these straight leg swings now. Remember to begin low. So just let the leg drop back as soon as you feel it tighten. Maybe swing a little higher next time. Good, let's change sides. Eight, 9, 10. Good. I'm just going to go back on my toes a little bit more. Push my hands together, get my shoulders flying up a bit more. Good, and pull. And push. And pull. Good. All right. So I'm going to get us to be working on stances and blocks. And let's look at some stances first before we get started. All right. Now, first we're going to look at forward stance. Now you can see my feet are about as far apart as my shoulders are. Right. So approximately that is equivalent to that. It doesn't have to be exact, but you know it's a good guide for the width of your stance. Now, when I step forward with one leg, I'll try to maintain that width instead of putting one foot in front of the other. And you can see as soon as I put one foot in front of the other, I'm like this, I'm on a tightrope. Yeah, so wider is better and more balanced. Yeah? Right, so when we put one leg forward and we bend down with our front leg and we push with our back leg, we turn sideways, you can see that. It's called a forward stance, right? Does that make sense? Pushing forward, yeah? This is the starting my car, pushing my car because it won't start. Yeah? Alright, good. So that's what I want you to do. I don't mind which leg you do. We're going to alternate. We're just going to go one leg and then the other. Right, so nothing with your hands to begin with. I want you to step forward with one leg, make the stance. Good. Pause and go back. And try and get your shoulder width position all the time. It's a good habit to get into. Right, and then forward with the other leg. And back. Good, and forward. Make sure your back leg is locked. Body's upright, torso is upright. And back. I'll turn sideways so you can see a view this way as well. Right, so stepping forward. Torso upright, not leaning forward. Not leaning back either. Well, but upright. Good here. And leg. Good, and back. And forward. And back. And forward. And back. Good. Now, I can feel that beginning to work up my quad muscles and my glutes, so I'm sure it's doing you good as well. This is what we want. We want our martial arts to be fun to do, useful, but also really good for our health and mobility. All right, now we're going to do the same thing with our legs, so the same stances, but we're going to sweep down for a downward block. All right, now, when I step with my left leg, I'm going to block with my left hand, and I'll put that on my shoulder and come all the way down. All right, so from here we'll fold this way, step forward and block down. All right, now I just finished the block slightly outside my leg, just a little bit higher. I'll turn sideways in a moment so you can see from the other direction. And I step back, put the other hand on top, and step forward with this leg and block down. Yeah, so step back, step forward and block down. Yeah, so I'm doing this from a Jumbi position. Should have said Shimon really. So let's be a bit more formal. Set Jumbi here on. So left hand on top, left leg forward, block down. Back, right hand on top, step forward and block down. Step back, left hand on top, block down. Back, right hand on top, block down. back. Good, let's just keep alternating. Good, alternate sideways. So here, forward, stance and block. And back. Forward, stance and block. And back. Forward, stance, and back. Stance and block. And step back. Forward, stance and block. And step back. Good. Okay, so hopefully you can feel that in your legs. Starting to feel it making your quads and glutes tingle a bit. And also, if you're keeping what we call tone in your torso, that's good too. So rather than I might turn this way, and I'll just rub the line. So if I just relax everything, I stand slowly with no tone to my torso. This is a habit that my body forms. It will create this habit and get more and more exaggerated in this position. But if I have some tone to my torso, I bring myself upright, so I activate my dorsal muscles, the muscles on my back. I control my abdominal muscles. I don't have to be tense, I don't have to be trying to pose all the time. But just a little bit of tone, a little bit of activation here to hold my organs in place. That's a really healthy thing to do, because now my organs are all supported. And so I'm not tense, I'm not trying to show a six-pack or anything. I'm just holding this a little bit toned so that my torso is good and my core, my whole core is good. Right now, if I can maintain that while I do these stances, then I'm getting an even wider range of workout. All right, so let's go back to this stepping forward and block. This time we'll do side block. Right, so should be position. Right, now side block comes from underneath. So I'm going to step with my left leg and block with my left hand. So because it starts from underneath, I'm going to put that underneath. Step forward and block. Back, put the other hand on top. You know, this hand, I can put it on top, because that works for the next movement. Good. Right, so now you're thinking about more things. You're thinking, nice stance, correct hand movement, and also some tone in your torso. It's a good bit of alliteration there, isn't it? Tone, torso tone. We need a third one really to make it good alliteration, don't we? A tightly toned torso. That works. Good. Right, now do some sideways. Basically. 2, 1, and 2. 1, and 2. Okay, now remember, you can be doing this faster than me, slower than me, same speed as me, whatever suits you, whatever works for you. I would encourage you, though, to make good stances, because making good stances will make you efficient. So if one day you need to step in and block something, you need to have some forward action and or maybe even use this as a strike, then having a good forward stance will give you the best chance of making it an effective technique. Stances are not really finished positions, but if I was teaching you a tennis swing, and I said, right, the ball is going to be here, I want you to start here, and I want you to sweep through to here, you can tell I obviously don't teach tennis, right? Because I have no idea what's correct and what's not. But what I'm trying to say to you is, if the ball is here, and if you started here, you'd end up here. The fact that you made contact at that point, if you start here and finish here, then you'll probably go through the most efficient point as you strike. Right? And stances are the same thing. Right? So what I'm saying to you is, if you start here and you're going to strike or block with this hand, and you finish here, then at some point on that journey, if you make contact there, or there, then this is the most efficient way to practice it. Does it make sense? I don't want to overcomplicate things, because overcomplication is a nightmare, isn't it? Good. All right, so You can use any of the blocks that we've done, that we've learned in those forward stances. But also you can do them in back stances or horse riding stance. Right, so let's do a few into back stance. Right, now I'll turn sideways for back stance because I think it's easier to describe. Now I'm going to step forward with my left foot, but my weight doesn't go forward like it would in a forward stance. My weight drops down where it is here. Stays pretty much, it's obviously a little bit further forward because it was there, now it's here. Right, but I'm holding it back. My front foot points forward, and my back foot is pointing sideways, and when this knee is bent. This knee is bent, but not very much. Right, then I'm going to come back to this position and step to the other leg. Yeah, so you can see this leg is bent much more than this one. This has much more weight. Right, and back, and step with the other one. The other back, and step with the other one. Yeah, now you can make this more challenging, more of a workout if you go for a longer stance. Make your feet even wider apart. Good, so just alternating legs. Good, now if I show you from the front, with our back stance, we keep our heels in line. So I start here, shoulder width. But when I make a back stance in our karate, we have our heels in line. Can you see that one foot's in front of the other? And this is our tug of war stance. So we are pulling back. We want everything in line to pull back. Yeah, so it's this way. Pulling back. Yeah, that's the action. All right, so I'll do a few facing you. All right, so just stepping with one leg. Keep your weight held back. You see my heels are pretty much in line. Good, and step back to one position. You with the other leg. Good. Back to one position. And the other leg. Good. Let's do a couple more on each side. Good. And back. Good. One more each side. All right, good. Now, let's do what we did with the forward stance. Let's put some hand movement on top. All right, so let's go up a block. Yeah? So, we're going to fold off. I'm going to step with my left leg, and my left hand will block. So we always have, so the leg that's in front, that's the side you block with. Now, an upper block needs to travel a nice long distance, so it needs to come from underneath. All right, so I'm going to put my right hand on top, step forward with my left leg, block with my left hand above my head. Then I'm going to step back, put the other hand on top, and step this way. Good. Obviously, I don't know how much of a workout this is for you. It depends enormously on your level of fitness, doesn't it? But it's a workout for sure. You know, it's not a cardio workout. Obviously, my heart isn't beating high enough for it to be a cardio workout, but it's certainly a mobility workout, and it's dynamic. I'm moving, which is nice. And I can up the level if I wanted to. Good. Right, so let's change to a knife hand block, shall we? So I think we've done knife hand block before. I'm going to fold this way, turn sideways. So I'm going to block with my left hand. So I'm going to step with my left leg. So my left hand comes here. I place these about the same height as the top of my ear. You can see my fingertips are about the same height as my ear, and this hand about the same height as the other hand. I make a stance and block this. Yeah. So I fold like this. I imagine my hands are tied together with a piece of string, so the distance between them stays the same. I go 1, 2, 1. Yeah. Right, let's try it. I'll do it towards the camera. So we fold, stance, Good, step back, forward, stance, block. Step back, forward, stance, block. Let's step back to your mind in between. Sure, that makes a bit more sense. One side, forward, stance, block. 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 Do two more each side. Forward, stance, block. Forward, stance, block. Do the last one each side. Forward, stance, block. And forward, stance, block. All right, so good. There you can see we've done two different stances, 2 or 3 different blocks, but you can put pretty much any block with any stance, maybe with the exception of knife hand block in a forward stance. I'm not a big fan of knife hand block in a forward stance, but yeah, not really a fan of that. But other than that, most things are interchangeable with blocks and punches. But who's to say you can't put knife hand block into a forward stance? You know, it's you training at home, so you know, do things your own way. Now, I love to give our brains a workout as well, because I think if you're going to work your body, work your brain at the same time, because that's good. Staying active, you know, I'm going up for 63, and I think one of the things that terrifies me is the thought of getting dementia and losing my mouth as I get older. All right, so something I try and do is really keep my brain activated. So, you know, all sorts of things. But I think this helps. So I'm going to do a block, step into a forward stance, and then step again into a back stance and do a different block. Yeah? I don't mind which ones I do, but what I would try to do is be consistent and do the same thing every time, so that my brain stays really engaged with what I'm doing. You know, when we do exercise, if we do it without thought, so I'm not a fan of running, but I like to row. Now, if I row as a cardio exercise, if I row and I switch off and think about something else, I'm sure I get less of a workout than if I row and I really focus on what I'm doing. I look at the clock, I look at the time, I try and make sure that I'm there or thereabouts from my previous times. You know, and it feels completely different when I stay engaged. And I think that's being engaged in the moment. You know, mindful is a buzzword at the moment. So being mindful and being in the moment is really important. Really good to keep our brains active and totally engaged. All right, so what I'm going to do then, I'm going to step forward into a forward stance and block down, and then into a back stance and block sideways. Yep. So I've got lots of things to think about. Weight forward on the first stance, weight backward on the back stance, different folds, different blocks. Yeah, now, I've been doing this a long time, so this will come fairly easily to me. But obviously, if this is new to you, you may have more challenges with it, and that's why I wanted to have a bit of a challenge. Yeah? Okay, so I won't say left or right, because obviously if you're mirroring me, then it'll be the other way around. Right, we'll start here. We'll forward, we'll step forward, forward stance, down the block, then forward, back stance and side block. Good, and we'll step back. Forward stance, down the block, back stance, side block. Good. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Good. Right, now I'm going to step forward with the other leg first. Right, so I do downward block from a right stance. So from forward, downward block, forward again, side block, back stance. Yep, let's go again. Ready? Down, side block. Your downward block, good, and side block. Still do 3 more. Ready? Forward downward block and side block. Downward block and side block. Do the last one then. Downward block and side block. Good. Now, the next logical step would be to go backwards to the downward block again. So this may be a bit complicated for you, so don't worry if it is, but it's just another step if you want to try it. So from this position, I might go downward block in forward stance, side blocking back stance, then return to the forward stance and downward block, and then back to the start. Yeah, so I do the whole thing, reverse, forward and then reverse. So forward, forward, reverse, reverse, forward, forward, reverse, reverse, forward, forward, reverse, reverse. Good, and we'll start with the other leg. So forward, forward, and reverse, reverse. Forward, forward, and reverse, reverse. 2 more. Forward, forward, and reverse, reverse. Last one. Forward, forward, and reverse, reverse. Okay, good. I'm just going to have a quick drink. Right now, you know I'm a big fan of being active and exercising. Right, so I usually throw some, well, always, but I often throw exercises in. What I try to do is put in exercises that you can do in lots of different ways. Right, so we're going to do some leg raises today. Oh, turn sideways, this way. Now, loads of different ways to do leg raises. Let me turn it at an angle so you can see all the different aspects. First of all, I like to do them on my elbows. So my torso is not flat on the floor. And for me, it feels like there's less strain on my back. Right, so let's start with the lowest level of leg raise, the way I see it. So I'm going to lift one leg up, slowly lower it down, then the other leg up, and slowly lower it down. Get up, and down, up, and down. Now, don't forget, whatever you do, don't forget that. I suppose the obvious part of the exercise is the lifting up. The less obvious part of the exercise is the slow lowering. It's so good for us to learn to lower and reduce the resistance. So take the resistance off at the same time. Now, so the next thing I would do is lift both of my feet off the ground and just have one up, and the other one this one. Well, then this is significantly harder. It might be easier to lift your legs off the ground, both of them, and just change them over like this. But having said that, this is significantly more challenging than having the other leg on the floor. Right? So you will have to build up a little bit of abdominal strength before you can do this. Yeah, good. And then to take it to the next level after the alternate is to have both legs off the floor, have one down, and the other one goes up and down. And then perhaps the other one up and down. Good. Okay, that's nice. Then you can do almost the same thing, but starting in the high position. So if you start with your legs here, you lower, come up. That is quite challenging. The other one. Good. That is quite, as I said, that's quite a challenge on your abs. And then, of course, the double leg raise is probably more challenging as well. Okay, so if you're in this position, you just lift up both together this way. And remember, it's important to lower down, not just drop down. Good. So whatever you do, if you're working with leg raises, don't strain your abdominal muscles. Firstly, it's really uncomfortable, which is not a good thing. Secondly, I don't want you to be put off doing core strengthening exercises, because core strengthening is really useful. Right, so with that in mind, let's do some side leg raises. So, get yourself on your side. You can either be like this, or you can be a bit more flat like this. I don't mind, I personally prefer this. I bend my lower leg, the leg is on the ground, and then the other leg I just lift up to the side. Now this works your obliques, the muscles on the side of your torso, and also the side of your hip, the side of your glutes. Yeah. Try not to turn your foot this way, because if you do that, then you're back to working your quads, and we've already given those quite a workout today. Yeah, and they tend to get worked when you do the other leg raises that we've done previously. Right, so keep sideways, so your heel and your toes are perhaps the same height, or maybe even your heel is a bit higher than your toes. And you might feel it working your bottom muscles here. Actually, you'll definitely feel it working your oblique muscles at the side of your torso. We're going to do the other side, obviously. Otherwise, we'll be grotesquely overdeveloped on one side. We don't want that, do we? All right, so here. And you know, I know I've said this lots today already, but if you want to work faster than me, that's fine. If you want to work slower than me, that's fine. It's your workout. Do it in the way that suits you best and have fun with it. Good. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap it up there today. Hope you enjoyed the workout. Try and do it at least a couple more times before looking at the next one. And remember, you can always go back and look at older workouts, ones you really enjoyed, ones you felt did you really good, worked your body in a certain way, the way you liked. But remember, lots of variety as well. Good. Feet together, hands on your sides, and bow. Thanks, guys. See you next time. Hello. Hello. All right, I'm done.